Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of the Big O Podcast. Today, I am joined by one of the hardest working sports personalities today, a man whose responsibilities and workload is only rivaled by the likes of Kevin Hart and The Rock. He's an Emmy winner, host of the Lefkoe Show Podcast, Tuesday night coverage of the NBA on TNT, and as of 2020, a trading card aficionado, and hopefully a future friend of the show, Adam Lefkoe. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Man, it sounds like I'm doing important stuff. It really sounds like I'm working, because I'll tell you what, my fiance is like, "What are you doing there?" And now I'll just play her that clip. That's good.
Yeah, listen, it's interesting because, you know, I used the reference earlier before we started the pod. I felt like DK Metcalf. We connected a little bit in the summertime, and you told me to check back in. And believe me, I have been checking back in on you.
You're the man.
I also feel like Phil Mickelson, you know, in that clip with him and Tiger are playing together, and the announcer before the tee is going off all the championships Tiger Woods has won.
Nice.
And Phil's like, enough. We get it. Lefkoe's a busy guy.
Yeah, but I like your background more than mine. Everybody makes fun of my background, and you have this beautiful jersey framing right now. It's nice.
Well, listen, there's a reason for it, and let's get into it, because my introduction to Bleacher Report and Adam Lefkoe was during quarantine. 2020 has been a hell of a year. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs.
Hell yeah.
But the positives have been, my introduction to you was your Instagram live game, Put Me in Couch.
Ooh,
and
wow.
the first time I tuned in, the way you get your people on the live is by saying, all right, what throwback jerseys do you have that you can represent? And at the time, I did not have these. I had to get them shipped in from the States because my dad had them. And this is a combination of collections. But as you can see, I've got Shaq at Orlando,
Yeah.
Shaq Team USA. I've got
Underrated.
Grant Hill jersey, 33, with that old school starter Pistons jersey.
Love that.
And then I got the OG original LA Galaxy.
Ooh.
Not very many people are going to have that one. That's a slept-on jersey.
I don't even remember. Yeah, because now LA Galaxy's all cool with the white unis and all that. Yeah.
This is way before MLS was like a cool happening thing.
No doubt.
Before Zlatan took over. So I wanted to represent and say, listen, Lefkoe, if I had these, would you have given me a shot with the throwback jerseys?
Oh, 100%. Numerous reasons. One, the pinstripe of the O'Neal Magic jersey is iconic with I don't even know what that is, like spray paint 3-2. It just cuts through. Any USA jersey is awesome. A Shaquille O'Neal one is interesting because that's the one issue that I have with the Dream Team, is that it was Christian Laettner and not Shaquille O'Neal as the representative of the college player. I thought he was amazing. And then Grant Hill, one, what a great guy. Two, he wore 33. And that's what my listeners call themselves, the 33%.
That's right.
So that one would have gotten you in. The Grant Hill 33 would have caught my eye. I'm drawn to 33.
Perfect. So at least I know, if we bring back the Put Me in Couch to win.
If it comes back, you're in.
I've got the hoodie already, but I want that 2020 gray version. Wow. Right? So,
you're really riding or dying. I love it.
Listen, one of our Canadian gems, came over the border to work for Bleacher Report, and that is Mr. Cabby Richards. And so Cabby's been on the show a couple times, and
nice.
I had an opportunity to win some stuff. So, repping BR,
Woo!
I got everything. You got the koozies,
man.
Everything.
You betting? Are you a big?
I'm getting into it. I've got 2
buy sports cards. They're a better investment.
Well, here's the thing. So I've been listening, and it's actually something I want to get into today, because I've got 2 young girls. I've got
that's adorable.
A baby
Congrats.
on the way. Thank you very much.
Wow, congrats again.
So we're going 3 under 4. It's not something that most people like to accomplish, but hey,
I have no kids, so let me give you advice. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't even know what to say.
One of the things that I've started to pay attention to over the course of this year has obviously been your attraction to the sports cards industry. Obviously, we know Gary Vee sort of took that on his shoulders and ran with it, but slowly but surely there have been people jumping on and getting into it.
Yeah.
And you didn't just put like your big toe in. You just dove for the deep end.
Yeah, I kind of did, didn't I?
And you've had the support of that card community reach out to you. You've done unboxing on Instagram Live. You've done, done all these videos and podcasts.
Literally before I got on with you today, I just shot all of the elements. I'm going to do another. I do these videos, why I love this card. I just did it. I was like, I got 30 minutes. So I just shot all that really quick. Yeah, dude, it's taking over my life. People are concerned. I'm not. I love it. I think it's great.
Well, the question is, what does your fiance think? Because you're investing with all of these cards, and obviously you're so busy with your time. But like, you got pending nuptials coming up sometime soon. What's that feel like?
For a lot, it's when I keep coming back to the apartment with eBay boxes. She's like, what is going on? And then I sold one of them and I bought her a bag. And she was like, oh, that, and somebody told me that. It was really good advice. But I think what I've told her is, I was like, do you think that I enter things willy-nilly? Or do you think that I overthink things? She goes, you overthink things. I goes, okay, so because I'm so interested in this, I hope you understand that it's not crazy. And she gets it. But like anything, it's a market. And it's just like if I was like, I got a hot tip on a stock, kind of in a way. There's always fear that comes with it, but I look at it not just as an opportunity to maybe grow money through alternative investments. I also look at it as a way of communicating deeper about sports. And I also look at it as a different way to put my money where my mouth is.
Right.
I lost $200 in real money betting this weekend on Tennessee -5.5 against the Bengals. I really thought that they were going to be good. And instead, Joe Burrow couldn't be stopped.
That's right.
Now, if I would have said, you know what? I love this team because I like Derrick Henry. And instead I would have bought a Derrick Henry card. I could have gotten it for a lot cheaper than $200.
For sure.
And if I think that he keeps having a big year, that card might go up. But I tell you what, I'm not going to lose all of it. Right. And so it's just been a new way for me to engage with sports. And the betting community lives game by game. And the sports card community, it's sort of like being in a dynasty league. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think that's been it too. I think also, like you said, 2020 has been hard.
Yeah.
And I to have another community adopt me so big, it's exciting. And so that was a lot of fun too, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing because you were a big fantasy guy, right? Fantasy football.
Sure.
I mean,
I still love fantasy. I still love betting.
And
it's all parts of sports.
And now you're looking at it through an alternative lens. And I love the fact that like you just wet your fiance's beak just a little bit. You know, here's a little taste. You know, and then you get to buy it.
More where that comes from.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, don't worry, you know, honey, the wedding, I got the DJ, I got this. That's what she asked me. She goes, what's the point? You know? And I said, I genuinely want to do this so that when it's time to make big purchases in our lives, I will sell it and I'll get what we need because I'm confident that I could do it again. Right.
And that's the thing is, I don't have a card that I'm like holding and like, no one will ever touch this. It's like, no, but I believe this is something that can grow. And then when it's time for a house or we are lucky enough, like you guys, to have a baby, like I'm going to liquidate a lot of it and I'm going to put that towards the family. So when I said that, I think it opened up her eyes too.
Yeah. I think it's the long-term investment and, you know, she gets into it. Now, we're coming off one of my favorite weekends of all time, and that is Halloween. I feel single greatest holiday of the year. And I say that knowing that people are going to highly disagree with me, but it's a holiday that is amazing because you celebrate it with friends, you celebrate it with family, and you get to celebrate it with strangers. Obviously not in 2020 because of COVID, but amongst other years, I think it's a holiday that evolves with you and you're never too young or old to be able to celebrate it. What gets your vote for the greatest social holiday of the year?
Okay, you added that word in there.
Social. You see that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Okay. For a long time, I used to be very jealous of my friends on July 4th because I was always a reporter and I'd always have to work and my friends would always be at a lake And so it was this allure of this holiday I never got to celebrate.
Right.
So that was definitely up there. And that's just because when I think of that, I think of outdoors, I think of grilling, which is like very enjoyable. A lot of the other holidays give me stress. It's a lot of family. It's a lot of questions. No, but Thanksgiving is great. I'm naming a lot of American holidays. I don't even know what else is really up there.
So I'll give you a few. I mean, one of the ones that I would say in my younger days, I might have been more inspired to do. Now I've
St. Patty's Day,
St. Patrick's Day, Mardi Gras. Some would consider a social holiday.
Oh, I'd take Mardi Gras over almost anything.
All right. See, and so I mean, there you have like your Easters and your.
What else? Do you have more list? Easter. Get out of here.
Well, here's the thing. Depending on what you celebrate, for some it might be like a Yom Kippur. It might be Hanukkah.
Yeah,
might be
I'm Jewish. Ain't nobody get excited to celebrate Yom Kippur.
Listen,
nobody's like, Yom Kippur, I get to fast and atone for all my sins? Yes. And then Hanukkah just got a bad rap when I was growing up. Okay. Because you, as a kid, at least I did, we would have choir.
Okay.
And in school, they would teach us 5 Christmas songs, 1 Hanukkah song, and they taught us a Kwanzaa song.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, we're down here in the minor leagues. We got dreidel, dreidel. That's all we got. And so I was always like, Christmas, though, that's the real. One day I'll be able to celebrate Christmas. I think we're getting a tree. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, hey, breaking news.
Listen, she wants a tree. We got a tree.
But listen, here's the thing. I feel like maybe when you were younger, you had dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. But Adam Sandler comes out with a banger holiday song. And that might elevate you into top 3 holiday songs all time.
Man.
So I'm just saying.
Adam Sandler.
Look,
O.J. Simpson. Not a Jew. So good. So good. It really did. He kind of made being Jewish cool for a little bit, which I needed because there were not a lot of us in my area.
And they came out with a great movie, 8 Crazy Nights, cartoon, but not
Never
your
seen
typical. What?
Yeah.
Lefkoe, listen.
I don't have to see that. That does not sound like it needs to be on my top 5.
It is the most underrated holiday movie.
So you're a big holiday guy.
I'm a big holiday. Well, you know what? Again, I've transitioned to family. So for me,
what's your top ranked family holiday?
Oh, the family holiday for me. Oh, that's hard, man. I would say Halloween again. Forget the social aspect.
Wow, double dip.
Well, you know what? I'll triple dip.
What was your cost?
Halloween's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. So I mean,
what did you wear on your birthday this year?
I was the birthday boy. It is like the lamest birthday Halloween costume ever, but since I was 18. That has been my go-to in my younger days.
And what do you wear?
A t-shirt that usually just says birthday boy.
Listen. That's like telling Tom Glavine not to throw the heater. That's like telling Patrick Mahomes not to go deep.
That's it.
If it's working, why stop? Because you're getting a double dopamine. You're getting people going, huh? Huh? And they do that little move, and that's pretty cool to feel. That has to feel good.
Yeah, it was one of the things that growing up as a kid, it was hard because it usually meant I didn't get to have a birthday party, or it had to be super early. Because
bullshit, you got candy at school for your birthday.
But then, as you get a little bit older and as you start to appreciate the day, you realize most people in North America are celebrating your birthday. Now, they may not be celebrating my birth, but they're celebrating my day. And
they're celebrating.
That's it.
I just want people to have good energy on my birthday.
100%.
That's what's so important. The lady at the post office, there's one lady, she's got the same birthday as me.
There we go.
And we are forever connected. And when I go in there and I mail off sports cards, I look at her and I go, birthday twin. And she looks at me and she goes, birthday twin. And I know that I might have to stop by the post office on my birthday. So we'll see.
Here we go. Now,
not as cool as Halloween.
Listen, all of our birthdays are important and special. Now,
don't pander to my birthday.
Now, off the top, I mentioned the various things that you do. And the resume is long and it's decorated, taking a step back to where this all started at WHAS in Louisville.
KHAS is where it really started in Nebraska.
Okay, and then we moved to Louisville at WHAS.
Then we moved to Louisville. Yeah,
all right, so at least I got it right, just not the beginning.
That counted.
All right, so now you're at Bleacher Report, and you were named 2013 Associated Press Kentucky Sportscaster of the Year. You won
Suck it, Kent Taylor.
That's it. You won an Emmy. Now, was this ever a realistic expectation for you? Or man.
I have two. One is with my parents.
This
though, the reason I like it is this one was for a story that I did in Henryville, Indiana, about a tornado that destroyed the town. And we did a story where we went back and we interviewed, I don't even know, 40 people, me and this photographer, Michael Driver. And I loved feature stories at the time. It was the one part about being on the news that I loved, man. It was taking a story with time and really writing it and getting good visuals. Like, if my favorite news program in America is CBS Sunday Morning. It's the only news program in which it's like really thoughtful, and they share stories of impact. It's not just regurgitating what just happened.
Right.
And that's why I eventually got into news, because I was like, I like connecting with people and storytelling. And so I'm proud of that one, because it's not sports. It was just humans. But I haven't talked about that in a long time, so that was fun to talk about. I know you weren't going to ask me about that.
Listen, it's all good. We're going wherever the conversation takes us. But I want to know, was this a realistic expectation, like an end game for you? Winning awards, just talking and doing stories about human beings? Or did you think that at some part of you might end up using that orange soap to wash your hands after a hard day's work of refrigeration and air conditioning, just like your dad?
Where'd you find that? That was good.
Buddy, I dive deep.
Appreciate
sometimes.
that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you knowing that. I knew that I was not going to be working in refrigeration. My dad knew that. I am not a hands-on guy. It is embarrassing. My sink is messed up, and I need to call the guy to fix it, because it ain't me. There were definitely a lot of moments along the way where I thought, I'm just going to live here. There was a moment in Nebraska where I thought, I'll stay here. There was a moment in Kentucky where I was like, I think I'm going to go into sports radio. I don't know if this TV thing is going to work. There have always been moments where I've really questioned it. At the same point, there's always been this moment where when I have doubt, that I turn it into fuel. I would say to people, did I always know that I wanted to do what I'm currently doing? No, because I have goals, but I definitely don't have an end goal. So there hasn't been anything yet where I've been like, I'd like to do this every day, because I like doing a lot of different things. Did I think that I had the ability to do it? Yeah, I did. At the same point, you waver, but I have always thought that I think that I'm pretty good at what I do, and I just have to convince other people that I'm good at it too. And so I feel like I'm blessed that people, I guess, kind of see it the way I see it, which is cool. And it's not until you really step back and look at the whole path do you see all the steps on the journey. Like, it really feels like a blur, which is like wild. But I wasn't going to let anybody stand in this way. Did I ever think like NBA on TNT? Like, no, that's crazy. But as soon as I realized it was a possibility, it was like, let's go. Right. So
giddy up.
Yeah, it's weird, because I think everybody needs to do things for a true purpose. And it has to be that you're called to do it and that you're fulfilling something deeper within you. Because I think if I were to wrap up my entire existence into that TV show, that if I wasn't on it, what would my life be worth? Right. And I realized that through going through the thing with Sims, where I was like, man, this is Sims and Lefkoe, and I've put so much into this, and like, the hell is Lefkoe? Like, it's always been the combination. If I put all my value into getting a lot of views, what happens when I don't get views? If I put in all the valuation to a salary and they don't want to pay me. So for me, it's like, if there's a camera, I want to be on it and I want to connect with people. And every stage, I'm going to try and do my best to own it. That Kobe mentality where it's like, and that Jordan mentality, somebody see me for the first time. I want it to be an amazing experience. And not just for them, but because I want to be proud of it. So, like I don't even think I've started, and I don't know what's next. Like, I have a lot of ideas for things. But like, do I see myself doing the same job for a really long time? Like, don't get me wrong. NBA and TNT is an amazing job, and there's no group of people that I'd rather work with for a long time, but like, who knows? And so that's where I get excited, because it's like, there is no finish line.
Right. And I think that's interesting because it sort of brings me into my next topic that I want to talk to you about. And, talking sports is just part of what you do. But like you said, you started with news and you have all of these different ventures going on, whether it's an interview or doing some voice work for Gridiron Heights, managing the personalities of your Hall of Fame coworkers for the NBA on TNT, or mediating virtual meetings within Bleacher Report when it comes to diversity. It's obvious that you carry yourself in a very stoic way. Is that something you've always done, or have you embraced the philosophy over time?
So, character defines action. So who you are will define what you do. And so I think that we can work on character, but I also think that who we are as people is pretty much written in stone, and your actions are the examples of that. And Stoic philosophy, for me, it sounds really big, but for me, it's really just a mindset of being in the present and controlling what you can control. And I think that I've always had that mindset. I like to listen. I'm very curious. I don't need to be the smartest person in the room. In fact, I really try to be the dumbest person in the room. And I'm also someone that really respects history, because I don't like making mistakes when people have already done things and I can learn from them.
Right.
And to talk about, what's going on in our society right now, right as we're on the eve of the presidential election for the United States. And I think that the moral compass, it's so interesting. And it's really sad and it's scary. And I mean, look, I live in New York City. There's companies, there's buildings being boarded up on my street in preparation. I don't know. But who you are cannot be changed by anybody else. And as we've gone through this time, especially here in America, and it's not just here, it's all over the world, you can either look at history and you can either choose to be on the sidelines and you can watch as it passes you by, or you could say something. And will it change everything? No. But you have one thing. It's either say something or don't.
Right.
And in the end, what do you stand for? And if you can live with not saying anything, that's okay. I just, having like really looked at history and looked at like the acts of people, that just wasn't me. And it's really refreshing when you say something and you see the impact that it has on the people around you.
Right.
And I implore everybody, because we're reaching a time, man, where people can't sit back anymore. Like I think we're past that, but plus, why would you sit and stay silent? That's not fun at all.
And I think, one of the, larger sports figures who has sort of been doing his part has been LeBron James, often criticized for his play on the court and maybe sometimes the decisions he makes in doing something like the decision. The one thing that he hasn't done is be on the wrong side of history when it comes to what's going on right now. Obviously, he's used his platform to do things, not just now, but I mean, his I Promise school, really helping out his entire, crew that he keeps with him, whether it's, just helping guys out, pointing them in the right direction. He's going on the side of that of a Muhammad Ali. And I think when it comes to some of the social injustice, Muhammad Ali vacated his title, went to jail.
Nobody did it like Muhammad Ali.
Gave up his prime years because he believed in something, and he wasn't going to fight what he called someone else's war. LeBron James is very much doing something similar at this time, and that is, I have a voice, and I'm going to use my voice in the right way. Because more often than not, there have been times where people have tiptoed around situations and are going to be on the wrong side of history. And that is, you stood by, you did nothing when you had the opportunity to affect change for the right reason. And
for one, this got sent to me. I used to live in Louisville. This was the booklet giving out at Muhammad Ali's funeral.
Wow.
And somebody sent it to me because they were there. And on the back, there's one quote, and it says, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth."
Wow.
Which is really, I think, speaks volumes. But two, I would say this. There are two sides of a mirror.
Yep.
But only one of them shows you. Okay. And so, yes, there's two sides to this. And you can do nothing or you can say something. One of them, you're going to pick a side. Yep. And you're either going to be able to look yourself in the mirror or you're not.
Right.
And I think when you think of it like that, that's to me all the motivation you need. I'm a look in the mirror guy.
Right.
And because, man, like, you got kids.
Yeah.
Like I don't, but I think about, I always used to think, and I still think about it because I don't have kids yet, but I think about, man, it's going to be tough because you have to lead by example, because you could tell them anything, but they're going to follow your actions.
Yeah.
And so I always go like, man, I'm going to make decisions so that when I have kids, I don't have to make it all up as I go. That's just who I am,
Yeah. I mean, it's very calculated. And I think that goes back to the sort of Stoic philosophy. And in doing some research, one of the things that I believe you said was that of sports figures, and we'll use coaches as an example, the coach that exemplifies that stoicness the most or the best was Bill Belichick. And I believe you said the do your job is the great way to sort of sum that up, and how he has this mentality, which is interesting because I want to know if you had heard what came out on the, I guess as part of a radio interview this past week. He was very honest about why the Patriots are in the position that they are in. Cam Newton only got paid $1 million because we sold out our future to win 3 Super Bowls, make an AFC championship, and go to another one. And as much as Bill Belichick is this, we're on to Cincinnati, and keep it moving. It was a very interesting and sort of uncharacteristic answer from him, because it really sort of showed you the insight and the thought process, which not very often happens, at least unless you're seeing it through like an NFL film's America's Greatest Teams once they win the Super Bowl. And so I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on the comment from Bill Belichick.
It definitely is different, and it's definitely the most honest he's been, which lets you know that game on Sunday was the passing of the torch in the AFC East. It was, the Patriots usually win this one. They move to 3-4. The Bills fall to 4-3, and they'll somehow pass them anyway.
Right.
That to me was, hey guys, it's over.
Yeah.
That this run that we're on is over. And I think it really was a moment of honesty. I also think that just because you're stoic and you don't have emotion, you also don't lose perspective. And I think Bill Belichick is sitting there being like, do you guys know that when you say that what I have done is unparalleled, and then the next year you ask, how could it possibly be ending? Right. You answered it by saying it was unparalleled. It's never happened before. And I'm very fascinated on the legacy side, how big this is going to be for Tom Brady. To have success. I think it's huge for him. But there's also a sick part of me that's hoping that he's tanking for Trevor.
Yeah.
And that if he does it, boy, would that be sweet. But it's okay. It's okay for Belichick, and Belichick absolutely has ego, but I think it's important for him to remind people sometimes of how great he is, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we're definitely going to see. The proof is going to be at the end. Let it finish, and then let's look back and reflect and not judge it as we go. Now, I know we're pressed for time. I have one last question to sort of get you out of here on.
Sure.
I've given you zero preparation, so I know it's coming off of the dome. Okay. So here's the scenario. You are in charge of selecting the ultimate Hall of Fame draft class for the world of sports. You must choose one coach, one player from a team, one individual sport athlete, one owner, one sports broadcaster, and one commissioner. In no particular order, what does that draft class look like?
Okay. Just because you said it last, commissioner, we're going to make Adam Silver.
Okay.
We're going to do coach. I am going to do Phil Jackson.
Okay.
Player in an individual sport.
Yes.
Tiger.
Okay.
Listen, I thought about Serena.
I
thought about Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps, but I'm going Tiger.
Okay.
What was the player on a team sport?
Yes, player on a team sport, and then one.
And this is for the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame of Hall of Fames, like the best of the best, the ultimate Hall of Fame.
It probably shouldn't have been Silver. It's probably somebody that created more, but yeah, probably should not have been Silver. Team sport athlete.
Yeah.
It's got to be Jordan. It has to be. There's no one in football. There's no one in. I'm not. If it's not Jordan, it's Gretzky.
And so I was going to say, for Canadians, it might be Gretzky.
Totally. Yeah. If you had me pick a player from every sport, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Those two are the closest. And then what was the last one I was missing? One broadcaster?
Sports broadcaster.
Of all time.
All time.
Howard Cosell.
Ooh.
Yeah, listen, Ernie's up there. There's Stuart Scott is up there.
Yeah.
Chris Berman is up there. Bob Costas is up there. But for me, Howard Cosell is the true GOAT, because when he did his stuff with, as you mentioned, Muhammad Ali, they were equal in star power.
Oh,
this was a guy that. They say this a lot about broadcasters. Do they have a big game feel? That when Brett Musburger goes on there, it feels like a big game. When Keith Jackson would call a game, it was a big game. When Ernie, it's a big game. But when Howard Cosell, because my parents would play me clips, and he'd be like, "Hello and welcome to Monday Night Football here in Dallas." Like, it feels like it's a movie set.
Right.
And he understood marketing, and he understood. So I would pick Howard Cosell as that guy.
I mean, he does it for multiple reasons. I mean, Muhammad Ali, you can't make a Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali would be an amazing for the individual athlete,
right? But Muhammad Ali has that partnership with Howard Cosell that you can't make a movie about that man without Howard Cosell being in it. And so
good.
For me, just to quickly name off mine, I like your Phil Jackson. I really like that one. For me, I'd go with Bill Belichick. I'm a Pats fan, but I think what he's done and continues to do is pretty amazing. Player from an individual team, for me, it's my guy Gretzky again.
Gotcha.
That's it. Canadian thing. Sports athlete, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is my guy. I flirted with Serena as an answer because I think what she's doing, continuing to do both pre and post baby, amazing. Owner. I would have said Jerry Buss.
Oh, I didn't pick an owner.
Yeah, there you go. So mine's Jerry Buss. Broadcaster for me, Vince Scully. Commissioner, it's recency bias. It's Adam Silver. I think he didn't start off with an easy time with the whole Donald Sterling saga. He's handled things pretty well when it comes to embracing his players and really listening more so than I think most other owners would have. Commissioners would have. So that rounds up mine. So you got to give me one owner.
I would pick Mark Cuban.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Just because I feel like he made rooting for sports cool for rich, famous people.
Right.
Like he was getting technical fouls. He like brought the NBA like with how they treat their players kind of up to speed. He showed that like you can spend a lot of money and like bring it in and like you're going to make that money back.
Right.
And I feel like him getting to buy the team kind of helped solidify this entrepreneurial mentality. But it just happened at a point in my life where I was like, this guy is exactly how I would own a sports team. That's what I would do. And I've always appreciated that about Cuban.
Well, that's a pretty good answer. I can't argue with that. Adam Lefkoe, I'm going to lead you out with this one. You already have your own sports card now. Released.
I do.
And if I was the Maddings rating adjuster, the way that you are helping these underrated football players raise themselves to a new overall and a new rating, I would have to say, honestly, you're a 92. Overall, great guy.
Yeah.
Room to grow because, as you said, this isn't the end game for you. You're still moving up.
I appreciate that.
So I appreciate you taking the time to come here, talk to me tonight.
92 overall, 99 segue rating.
It's true. But,
transition king.
I like that. Listen, I know you.
And I would say that you're at like a 96 preparation level for podcasting.
Oh, okay. Room to grow. I like that. Listen, when you don't have a Wikipedia page, you're going to things
I need to make one.
I was going on AMA Reddits from 7 years ago to get some of my information. I got notes I wasn't able to get to, but I mean, listen, the next time
there will be another time
you adjust my rating and I can improve on my 96.
Beautiful. I appreciate Adam, you, Julian.
I appreciate you coming on today. Adam, where can we find your podcast and all the amazing things that you're doing right now?
All of my social is at Adam Lefkoe. If you want to check the podcast, it's wherever you listen to podcasts. It's the Lefkoe Show. And if you're interested in any card stuff on Instagram, I am at Lefkoe Cards. And to be honest, that's where I'm having the most fun making content right now. So if you want to see a lot of memes and stuff that I'm doing more of it there. So that's my little plug for that.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks.
Enjoy your grocery order that's incoming.
It better get here soon.
From my guest Adam Lefkoe, I'm your host, Julian Ortiz of the Big O Podcast. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a good night, everybody.